Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Over the Under podcast, Texas A&M football edition. Today we're going to go over the 34 to nothing Texas A&M Aggie victory over the New Mexico Lobos. The New Mexico Lobos. Almost couldn't even get that out. Yeah, a nice victory. 12th man showed up. Kind of a warm September afternoon, well, morning game, 11 o'clock game, yeah, local time. That was kind of rough, but hopefully we don't have too many more of those. Hopefully the boys can win several more games, and the TV, ESPN, and whoever takes control of that will say, hey, maybe Texas A&M deserves some later games. So I hope for that for one. Those early games are kind of a killer. But anyway, 34 to nothing over the New Mexico Lobos. I'm going to give you three takeaways that I got from today. This was a game where pretty much for me, I saw pretty much everything I wanted to. I saw Zach Calzada come out. He had a really good game. So showed some really good flashes of what he can do. That he has the ability to be a good quarterback. He has a good head on his shoulders. He did make some mistakes, but it was his first start. And he also didn't get a lot of help from that O-line. I was pretty optimistic about that offensive line before the season started, and I do know that we did have some starters out on the line, giving them a rest against New Mexico. But man, um, there wasn't a lot to take away from if you were paying attention to the offensive line. It was a rough day. It made it pretty hard on Calzada to make some quick decisions. But he had a really good game for the most part. 13 for 33, 275 yards, three touchdowns, and only one interception. And that interception was close. He tried to force a pass. I don't remember who the pass was to, but he tried to force a pass, and it got read and intercepted. So, yeah, pretty good game by Calzada. There's a lot to take away from that, with especially going to the matchup against Arkansas. But we'll go over Arkansas later on this week. Also, when I'm telling you that, for me as an A&M fan who has recently started following recruiting, and when I tell you this was a game that you've been waiting for, this is one of the reasons why right here.
Everywhere right now. Calzada, clean pocket, wide open as the day is long. How about that? Damon Demas, touchdown, 70 yards.
That pass was a thing of beauty. That was Damon Demas' first collegiate reception. He played some last year, didn't get any targets, had 0 targets all of last season. Through 2 games this season, 0 targets. He's seen the field more probably in the past 2 games than he has seen in, a year and a half. Didn't play at all his senior year in high school. He was deemed ineligible. But if you can remember, I remember reading this about Damon Demas. His last year that he was eligible to play in high school, he averaged a touchdown for every other catch, for every other reception. His last year in high school that he played, he averaged a touchdown. That's unheard of. The pass from Zach Calzada was beautiful. He had time. The O-line was able to block for him. That was big. And Damon Demas, no one was even keying on him. No one. The separation was 25 yards from anyone else. He was gone. It was an over the shoulder catch. Beautiful. He ran it the rest of the way in. It was automatic. His first start in college was against New Mexico this past weekend, and he caught his first target was for a touchdown. First reception, first target, first everything, first touchdown. That's amazing. Well, there was another first touchdown and first target for another receiver in this game, Moose Muhammad. And there's going to be a lot more of hearing from these two players for the next year, several years to come. It's going to be really exciting. Watch this.
Able to get the conversion. Now Calzada drifts back, throws to Muhammad. Touchdown, Moose.
Zach Calzada to Moose Muhammad for Moose Muhammad's first collegiate catch, also for a touchdown. By that time, the game was well out of reach, but it was very exciting to see nonetheless. This is just a glimpse of what this recruiting is doing here for Texas A&M, what Jimbo Fisher is building here, and it's really exciting to see. We were finally able to get a glimpse of what he's building and what the rest of the coaches there are building. And turning this football program into, if we can get the O-line straight, I think A&M will be in good shape. Good young team for the most part. There's a lot to build off of this. But Jimbo Fisher also said that for the most part, they are just an average team. And I mean, he's right. Just because they had a good game against New Mexico, they struggled against Colorado, albeit they lost their starting quarterback. And Zach Calzada came in and not really planning on really playing a whole lot in that game. Kind of took him off guard. I can see that, but you really have to be prepared to play. Anyway, he came in this game, had a really good game. Zach Calzada did. Receivers had a good game. Isaiah Spiller came in, and he had 15 carries for 117 yards and a touchdown. Achane had a receiving touchdown as well in this game. 3 receptions for 45 yards. Damon Demas, 2 receptions, 100 yards. Averaged 50 yards per carry. Now, if you remember, I don't know if very many of you heard about Damon Demas in high school. His last year in high school that he played, he didn't play his senior year because he was deemed ineligible. His last year of eligibility in high school, he averaged a touchdown every other catch. I read that. Averaged a touchdown for every other reception in high school. Yeah, you don't hear about that. And he's very, very talented. We saw a glimpse of it. I hope we see more of it. I said last year in a podcast, we have a revolving door of receivers. There's got to be a way to catch these teams off guard. And maybe this is something we're going to start seeing. Maybe we're going to not just see Chase Lane and Jalen Wademeyer get most of the targets. Maybe it will begin to get spread out. I'm not sure what the game plan is. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see more of these players start getting some time, start getting some targets, take some of the weight off of Jalen Wademeyer. But then again, it's up to Jimbo Fisher. I can talk to you all day about what I'd like to see, but it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's up to Coach Fisher, of course, and he knows better than I do. I'm just a guy that goes to the games, watches them, and talks about them afterwards on a podcast that some people want to watch. Yeah, that's what I do. Anyway, got a big game coming up against Arkansas. We'll go over some of that stuff later on, but I do want to tell you this. When it comes down to analytics and breaking everything down, let's break it down like this. Alabama, everyone knows, is the top tier that everyone wants to be. Everyone wants to be Alabama when it comes to college football. They're, of course, number one, analytically breaking it down between offense and defense, ranking, and all of that. Number one, with a So A&M, you have So let's say this. There's another SEC team in there as well. Georgia, second. Georgia's second analytically ranking. In the SEC, when it comes down to rankings, to these rankings and the way they have it set up, SEC-wise, Texas A&M is third. They are ranked 11th on this website, but they are the third SEC team in the rankings right here. At 3-0. Defense, offense and defense compared to, and everything else compared together, overall, as a team, they are third overall in these rankings. And it's exciting to see. We have a lot. A&M has a lot of room to grow, but they have time to grow. They're a younger team than what they were last year. Especially, you can complain all day about this offensive line, but this is not the worst offensive line in the SEC. We are going to have problems with teams, with defenses killing our quarterback. We see that. There's a lot of work to do on that offensive line, but I think they get better. I do. I have faith. I had faith before the season. I was very optimistic. I'm holding that optimism. Holding it. I'm not taking it away. This is a good team. It's going to be a good offensive line. They're going to work. I keep telling myself this. They're going to work this out. They have to. And this is a team in Arkansas. Bumper Pool. We saw him last year. We saw what he can do. We saw how he can frustrate offensive lines. They are a very good defensive team. Defensive team. Every year, A&M has played them. It's always been close, except last year. Last year was the largest deficit between A&M and Arkansas in a long time. And I believe it's going to be a lot closer this year. We'll break down that game later on in the week. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a couple of takeaways with going with this game against New Mexico. And yeah, I'll see y'all again really soon, probably on Wednesday, to break down the Arkansas game. And we'll go through that. All right, have a good one, guys. Kick 'em.